Qlash will be on the blue, Existence on the red. Qlash Bane immediately take away the Sephira. Existence with the rebuttal almost just as quickly on the Florentino.
Well, it's two great bans, and bans we see time and time again in the Valor series. Those two characters just so incredibly strong. And the question really is, will Annette make the ban pool in the first
I'm gonna take it one step further. Are we gonna see Varus first pick, or are they gonna take him off the board?
Varus has to be banned. The fact that Nova didn't think they needed to ban Varus was silly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Varus showed incredible composure on the hands of Hot, and I think if there's a kind of game-changing factor, that would be that Varus first pick. So these teams definitely, they have to go deep and think, is Elsu, Varus, or Annette worth to leave open?
Lindis, however, seems to be the lock-in for Qlash Bane, telling Existence,
Don't ban Elsu.
You have to
ban Elsu.
You have to make a decision. Varus or Elsu? What's your choice?
If I am forced to make this choice right now, I ban out the Varus, because though the Elsu is terrifying, we've actually
Hello?
Hold up,
Team?
hold up, DJ.
Hello? Team? All right, so if this goes through, Pyrrha, Morin, whoever it may be, Teamy, whatever they decide to go through, they lock into Teamy. Varus is left alive for Qlash Bane, as well as Elsu, as well as Richter. Varus or the Elsu seem to be the first pick. Elsu looks to be the priority for Qlash. That's what they decide.
Yeah, they'll pick it up and presumably pass that over to Skycrew. Skycrew does play a darn good Elsu, but I'm not a big fan of it because there should be a Varus response, but Existence, baby, don't play it. We've seen this a few times. Existence struggling to adapt to the pace of the new meta, and they may just not have picked up the new character.
Would this be detrimental if Varus Elsu get into the hands of Qlash Bane?
I would say Annette Varus is the correct option right now
Varus,
because it's so strong. Annette as a support is incredible and helps Varus out a lot.
Lock it in, TJ says.
Annette Varus, because that duo is very good, because of they're responding to the shouting, because of the wind cuffs, you can stun people out for so long that Varus is always able to land the Bloody Fangs and Serpent's Embrace combo.
Well, they listen to you, TJ. Existence lock in Annette as well as the Varus, which now give Qlash Bane an opportunity to go for the Richter if they so choose. He is still left alive. Could be an opportunity for them. Would we also expect to potentially see another support? Or sorry, no, if Richter's picked in, that is a support. Good job, Jump.
I was gonna say, I would like Qlash to pick up a support right now in this pick phase because team is already out of the pool. Giving Existence more chance to ban support will be something of a kind of a disaster.
So the Boldum's coming through for that. I'm actually not a big fan of the Boldum here because I would be looking for something that can back up the Elsu a little bit better. We've seen a couple times the Boldum gets separated from the Elsu and isn't able to enable them. But I'm a fan of Mowgli not playing Chugnar, so it's a mixed bag.
Opportunity now, Existence, their final pick in the first phase to be available. They've got the side lane as well as their support picked up. They can decide to go for a mid laner. Yeah, they need to go for a mid laner right here to make sure it doesn't get banned out in a way. Liliana seems to be the hover.
Statistically, it should be Raz, but maybe into this they'd like the longer range stun poke. But statistically, the best characters for Bamboo have been Raz, followed by Sephira, followed by Tulin.
Tulin.
I would like to see Tulin. Tulin provides a lot of poke up against Elsu as well, who is looking to poke the kind of the opposition himself. So Tulin makes a lot of sense here.
The advantage of the Tulin is you have all those lightning strikes, so when the snipe starts coming your way, you always have a dash to stay ahead of it.
So now, Existence picking and locking in the Tulin means that they can now reduce the pool and create a more favorable position in that mid lane. Liliana seems to be the hover. Now remember, because we are in this two-phase system, the timers are a lot longer. So for those of you that have been watching in weeks past, the reason why it's taken longer, they've got more time to decide, which means there's more time for conversation and in-depth strategy during this draft phase.
We will see this mid-ban start to come through. This is targeting Zefta. Previously, we've seen a pretty wide variety from Zefta, but the characters to look out for are Liliana, Flash, followed by Jinnar. I really expect him not to pull out the Flash here, but we've seen it a couple times in combo with the Elsu because the Cyclone sets up for him.
Yeah, but the Flash can be banned out by Existence here, and this is what we saw in the last game as well. We had Liliana and Flash bans coming through on the second ban phase, but we do have a Superman ban coming through from Qlash.
Yeah, and that's presumably because they're setting up kind of this fortress. And one of the things Superman does best is reposition front lines. So if you dive in with a Baldum and the Superman can just pick up the entire front line and move it a few feet to the right, then all of a sudden you don't really have that defense you were looking for.
Well, there's the flash as well on the opposite side. You predicted it correctly in Vision as an opportunity for Existence to take that off the table. He is gone and away, and it looks to be an immediate Talanis as well for the other side lane. Existence now on their 4th pick.
If you want to know what character has been played during the Valor series by Zefta, apart from Tulin, Flash, and Liliana, it's Teamy.
Okay.
So I'm going to guess we're not seeing a mid-Teamy, but even if we wanted to, it's been banned.
Kriknak, however, on the flip side, looks to be the potential hover for the jungler for Existence, wanting to lock that down to make sure that they get themselves in a favorable position, so that way Qlash doesn't pick one first. You don't agree with the Kriknak, though. This
means this should be Alistar from Zefta, because he's the answer to Kriknak dive. But I'm not a big fan of Alistar and Elsu together because they're both so low mobility.
I actually like the Kriknak pick into this. If you look at each and every one of their characters, it's incredibly mobile team that they have. And up against Elsu, you want to be charging in, you want to be causing the chaos that the side of Existence are looking to bring onto the table right now.
If you want to do some dive and you want to worry about getting into the battle, Jinnar provides that for you, as it's the hover now for Zefta, as well as another melee jungler coming in Zephys, to round out the Qlash Spain roster.
You said that kind of weird.
Yeah, it rolled off the tongue.
Slipped, kind of weird. I get it. Jinnar does come through, like you say, and it's a sidestep of the Alistar. Like I said, I don't like the Alistar because he doesn't have enough mobility. Jinnar has a similar ability to shrug off dive because you just pop the Exuberance, and he's got enough mobility because the Exuberance lets him tank a whole bunch of focus.
Does it not worry you, though, with Jinnar going against the Annette Varus combo?
Not especially. Because even if the front line gets tied up, you have this 3-man dive core, Baldum, Richter, Zephyr's, Jinnar, that's 4 characters. Wow, I'm great at counting. And behind them all is the Elsu. So even if that 4-man dive core somehow gets stalled up by the front lines, the Elsu can rain out damage. Every moment the Annette is trying to stall out the fight, the Elsu theoretically is providing these long-range snipes. On a player like Skye, he'll be hitting most of them, but this is the best counter.
It is. Crashed a solid opportunity. If you want to dive upon us, let me just throw a tidal wave in your direction and say, no, sir, not today.
And blast from the past time. Crashed is what Chickaton brought into the meta at the non-pro tournament a year and a half ago?
Yeah, roughly around that time.
A little bit more.
A little bit more.
Here we go again. It's the story of TJ and Envision.
Remember how we had those weird, like, Polish cookies? And it was in between games, and we were just slipping out of the casting booth and eating them.
Yeah, slowly going, getting some food. It's good times.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah? Do you?
Yeah.
Well, we're living in today, TJ.
Really?
Crashed is the final lock-in. That means that both of these teams have had their complete picks in the longer draft phase that we've been seeing, getting ready for game number 1. Gentlemen, I don't really ask this too often, prediction-wise, but out of the draft that you have seen, which of these teams do you prefer?
Wow, that's actually a difficult one because I think both of these have incredibly strong draft, but I would say Existence. On paper, Existence.
I strongly disagree. I don't think this is difficult at all. I think Qlash have won the draft dominantly. They have the only thing that could mess them up is the Crashed. If the Crash lands these key metamorphoses and they break up the team fight, then maybe Existence win, but otherwise, Qlash have a brutal 4-man dive engage and the Elsu to hover behind it, especially on a player like Skye. I think it'll dominate.
Flipping over now to the head-to-head, because we did this in the last game. It clearly was a piece of relevance because of Alex P standing up against Poseidon. Zefta versus Bamboo in the mid lane, finding out the Jinnar versus the Tulin. What is that going to create as an opportunity for this head-to-head?
It's a lot of emphasis on the Jinnar choosing his moments. The Exuberance is a very good defensive ult for re-engages, and it's very good if you flicker engage with it. But it's not very good in the 1v1s. So Tulin isn't going to be able, or is going to be able to win the direct 1v1s, but he's not going to be able to win the team fights. In the team fights, that's going to be Zefta's day.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Jinnar will tank up Tulin pretty easily once we get into the mid-late game phase, but I think Tulin's not meant to be kind of that kind of sort of strategy in the late games, though, anyway.
You're looking for the Tulin to be able to dive past and fight the backline?
To just kind of navigate around the edges of the fight, trying to get whatever thunderclaps he can around. blast those Iron Strikes and maybe get a good buckshot off with the Thunderclap.
Game is getting loaded in right now. We'll have to see which of these two teams decide to figure out who will step up. Gentlemen, it's time to get ourselves started for our second match in the European region between Qlash Spain and x6tence as they take the Antares battlefield.
Right off the bat, we do see Qlash or Qlash going into the middle lane here as x6tence, they're looking to meet them there.
Redemption backing off, and he's going to drift down towards the bottom lane. There he's facing a Crest. That was an element of the lane matchup I was thinking about, but didn't mention. This is rough for the Crest, because he's the biggest boy. He's so easy to shoot.
But Crest is so small pre-4.
But he doesn't have enough mobility. He only has the aquatic leap. I think this will be a very easy win. This is something we used to see a lot telling us in the Crash. This is basically a hyper form of that. And I just think it's going to be a super easy lane win for Sky, which is... Or sorry, that's not Sky on the Elsu. That's Redemption on the Elsu. Curious.
Yeah, that definitely
That actually
is
shakes up my understanding of how this was going. But I do think Redemption's still very, very skilled on the character, and he'll be able to win the lane easy. Then coming into late, that gets very dangerous.
It does indeed. As x6tence now, they're rotating around. They're looking for any sort of kind of opportunity that they can utilize, and any misstep that Qlash do. I'm struggling with the name.
So this is something that, oh, Qlash, there's that pressure in the bot lane. This is something that we see a lot actually around the Elsu, a switch up of the character, specifically to play who feels more comfortable on it. Redemption was brought into this roster, kind of replacing Random in the jungle, pushing Random up to the top lane. Sky, of course, stayed in that bottom lane. It's all shifted just because Redemption is a little bit more comfortable on the Elsu than any of their other players. They put Redemption in the bot lane, Random returns to the jungle, and Sky is left up top.
Oh, x6tence, they're taking a little bit of a fight themselves. Qlash Random has to dash away from this one, but Red does get the first blood there with the snipe coming through onto the Tulen there as Bamboo has gone down. And it's a big kill indeed. That puts them in the lead, and Abyssal Dragon potentially in the books for them.
Yeah, it looks like x6tence aren't going to let that go just yet, particularly with Roids in the area. He's got one of the best denial abilities in the game. The Crest Metamorphosis basically means the fight is going to happen on their terms. Oh, Sky! He so narrowly stayed ahead of Clamars.
Yeah, Varys does not get the kill, meaning now Sky can stand around and try to do whatever damage he can, get that experience under the tower. I imagine x6tence will be rotating in there, and indeed they are. Tulen goes up top, but that does open Abyssal Dragon for the taking.
Mowgli taking the front lines here, tanking it up, and a good Wild Prison forces Roids to kind of back out, using that aquatic leap for separation.
Indeed it has, and there's going to be the ultimate coming through from Roy's x6tence. They're looking for an engage after the Abyssal Dragon. Qlash has cleaned out one up. Bumbo gets the kill onto Zefta in the middle lane. Random, he's taking a lot of damage, but somehow Roy's does go down, and it's a phenomenal kill coming through. But x6tence, they're going to be rotating. There's a good flicker away. What has happened? Mowgli's out of there. Now Zef is being played by Random, is in trouble. Bamboo gets the snipe with the Thunderbird.
Nicely done by Mowgli to bail, but he kind of left his jungler out to dry. I guess the main focus needs to be protecting Redemption, but it's an unfortunate turn of events.
Oh, there's the jumping coming through, and Net has used the ultimate as well, has to get away. Red has used the dash as well, but the Thunderbird, there it is, double kill coming through. x6tence, they show up finally.
That's a pretty major lead, particularly shutting down Redemption in the bot lane completely skews the early game. Every kill they get, every bit of pressure they get against the two key characters, mid and bot lane, will absolutely change the face of this match.
Indeed it will, as Qlash now, they're going to be looking to play a little bit defensive.
It looks like we're going to see a Fafnir's Talon as the first item build out of this Elsu, and that would kind of indicate that we're seeing Redemption go for more of an auto-attack focused build, which is curious because I thought they'd made that adjustment, putting Redemption in the bottom lane because he felt very comfortable on the character. He felt like he was going to land a lot of snipes, that kind of thing, but I actually haven't seen a whole lot of that, and he's not building for it.
Well, It indeed will be something to keep an eye out for in terms of items. x6tence now, he's going to be initiated on Qlash. He's going to be taking this fight. There's Varus coming in as well. Qlash dealing all sorts of damage. There's finally the initiation from Existence. The box shot's there, but it's not going to be a reset. Bamboo finally gets a kill on the random crash. Comes in right from the side. Comes in. That's 3 out of the equation for Qlash.
That was brutal. Royce was waiting in the mid lane for that moment when he could show up, drop the Metamorphosis, and push back the entire team. And this is going to be the second tower in only a few minutes. Redemption's desperately trying to defend. This time, I think he's got it.
Well, he does have the defense there on the middle, but top lane does go down. Tier 1, second one on the side of on the side of Qlash, my apologies. There is Existence. Do go ahead in terms of goal, 2.2 thousand separating these two teams.
Zefta in the mid lane has a tough act to follow. If they want to catch up, they need to shut down Bamboo before he runs away with this. He is going to be the main source of damage for this Existence roster, provided Qlash doesn't come online in a scary way.
Yeah, this is something to keep our eye on, as Varus might come online pretty soon here.
Yeah, the reason I kind of put that out there is because we don't yet know what a really built-up Varus looks like. We have seen already a pretty defensive build on the Varus, looking at them kind of as a tool to aid in team fights.
Qlash has been going for a fight though, however. Existence, they're responding to this one. They get 3, and Sky's in the midst of the enemies. Richter finally gets a kill, but he trades his own life for that one as well. That's a 1-to-1 trade, and the Abyssal, I believe, went onto the hands of Qlash.
I hate to call out Redemption, but where were you? You needed to be with the team. Instead, he's off in the jungle, getting caught out, actually dropped very low now. He wasn't clearing wave. Top lane pushed against them. He wasn't clearing mid lane because the mid wave was pushed against them, and he wasn't with the team pushing the Abyssal, and that means that they're losing a lot of farm. Redemption's not getting power farmed, and they lose a tower as soon as they lose one fight.
Yeah, Qlash looks to be struggling right now. Existence, they make all the right rotations here across the map. They're just doing such a phenomenal job and playing as a team. If they can continue this up, I would imagine they have a chance of closing this game up pretty soon here.
Random in the mid lane with this group of Qlash, and this is a worrying sign. It's actually something Existence do when they're losing games a lot, which is startling to see Qlash now repeating. When you start losing a game and you group up playing as one isolated unit, you lose a lot of your capacity to farm across the map.
Yeah, you definitely do. And Existence now, they're going to be looking for the top tower. So they're continuing the trend of taking objectives. There's the Valor ultimate coming through. That's a good ultimate, actually, because it stops Roids from utilizing the ultimate as Qlash. They're looking to defend this tower with everything they have. And Net has popped the ultimate as well, but it's only going to delay the inevitable as finally Existence, they get what they come for, and the tower is going to fall now onto the middle. They're going to take that one as well. Richter, though, did get a kill down on the bottom lane.
Yeah, Sky's the only player that's managed to farm well. He was the only player that was winning his lane for the entire first half of this game. Qlash have really kind of fallen apart. This is a complete disaster in terms of their normal laning roles. You can see that, particularly Redemption. He did build that Fafnir's talent. He now managed to follow that up with a Miramasa, but he's very far behind in gold, and that does hurt them.
I like this play from Qlash. They need to get this Abyssal, but they have to be careful because Existence, they're over here with 4 people. Varus, he's not there. This is the numbers advantage on the favor of Qlash. They initiate, they know it's their fight to take. Existence, they get shot at x6tence, he's gone down. Roids is going to be chasing onto Random, but he gets found, and Redemption, he's going to go down. Blue Triton is out of the fight. He's going to keep chasing. Random jumps in, but the connection somehow, then Ace comes through. Qlash, what a phenomenal play coming through. They get everything taken from them.
That was such a good start to the fight, but the 2 key big damage dealers were there. Existence had all the time in the world to pick Qlash and Blue Triton to bear. Now with 6 seconds left, it's likely going to be Redemption who has to hold against this high ground, which will already have fallen by the time he's up.
Yeah, bottom lane has gone down, which means there is gonna be the empowered siege minion there. crashing down onto that lane, and that's going to be a devastating thing because now Qlash is forced to always keep in mind that bottom lane, because if those minions get to the core, it can deal a lot of damage.
Oh, what are you doing? Random, a deep dive in.
Oh, there's the Venom coming through and the spin as well. Clemaris cleans him up. Qlash, they're under retreat. Will they be able to get out? Clemaris still dealing a lot of damage. Mowgli is running away with that bottom. Redemption gets caught out, jumps over the wall, and gets the safety. Qlash, they cut their losses with only one person going down.
Clemaris is just a stun machine. It is legitimately gross. They built for a lot of cooldown reduction, and you keep seeing in these team fights the constant strikes of the Serpent's Embrace, those two-pronged spears coming through and stunning up key players, meaning that when they're trying to retreat, they're constantly being chipped away at and being stunned up while they're trying to run away. The hope for Qlash right now rests entirely on Skye.
It does, but there's one objective on the map that hasn't been considered just yet. That is the Dark Slayer. So if the team of Existence, they want to go for that, they have to be careful, because if Qlash win a fight at Dark Slayer, it can be a potential comeback, as Existence, they're eyeing for the bottom and middle.
Existence, though, with the Abyssal Dragon in their hands, it's going to be impossible for Qlash to win a team fight. So I'd not like them to take the risk of pushing for that Dark Slayer. Just go through for the win off this.
Blue Triton does have the, actually, wait, he does have the buff, sorry.
Yep.
So he is going to be coming back, as Existence now is looking to set up a kind of an ambush on the Dark Slayer. Bait is being slain here by Existence. Will Qlash take the bait?
No, and this is something we see from a lot of teams that are feeling a little bit uncomfortable with the current meta. They, instead of trying to close games, they go for a late game team fight. They work off the theory that if they can just catch off the other team this late in the game, the death timers will mean they'll win, but you need to be using this buff for more than just pressure. And frankly, if they get a Dark Slayer off of this, they'll be relying entirely on the Drake to make the difference, having the Abyssal Dragon spent at that point. It's a very weird decision from Existence, and it's cost them critical time, as Qlash have begun to catch up in the item game during this time.
For sure, as Qlash has had the time to kind of get their bearings and get a little bit of farm going onto their hands, as the kind of the play to watch here would be that Redemption, has Fafnir's talent now and Muramasa completed as well for that penetration there. So he's doing okay. He still needs more items.
Yeah. Redemption's building very, very focused on the auto attacks, doing a lot of damage. He's now shifting to a little bit more damage, but I think his early idea was just that he was going to do well being able to kite back and spam autos. He's been quite quickly overwhelmed, though. We see the double dive potential of Existence with that Tulin Kriknak, and he needs to overcome that. That's going to come from landing snipes onto those characters before they can get close.
Indeed, it has, and Royce has put on an ultimate. Sky Crew's coming in from the sideline. He gets stopped, the net puts down the ultimate Qlash. They're in shambles because they're trying to fight on all fronts. Royce has gone down, but same goes for Zefta. It's a mid for the tank trade here, but Existence, they have got in the top lane, and they do have the Drake as well. Red is low. Oh, the miss from Clemaris, but Red is gonna go down. Qlash, they're looking to defend with everything they have, but it's not gonna be enough because Existence, they came looking for the game win, and they're gonna find it.
I have to say, I don't agree with Qlash changing who they're playing and what role.